Breakfast time. Pancakes with bananas and blueberries, and of course, my coffee. Now, I usually start off my video with showing a drive-in and setting up the trailer, but this one I wanted to show you the next morning and cut right to the chase and show you what a beautiful place to have breakfast. Now that I've got that out of the way, I can sit down and enjoy it. After a long drive up the Alaska Highway, I finally crossed the Yukon border. The first welcoming committee was a herd of bison. Traffic slows right down with these guys around. Yes, dealing with rock chips is bad enough, but to have this guy's head going through your windshield would not make your day. Next stop was by Protective Services. All incoming traffic was screened. I'm in the Yukon. Right on. This is the real north. True north, strong and free. You know, it is such a shame to only be able to view all this absolutely intense beauty from inside my Jeep, inside my vehicle. But it's the only way I can see it. It's the only way I can enjoy it. I'm not allowed to go sightseeing. I can only leave the comfort of my Jeep for getting gas, in which I have to pay at the pump. I can't go inside. I can't really have any contact with any other people while I'm transitioning. Those are the rules. It's got to be an emergency. I can use a restroom, you know, as long as nobody else is there. Like a restroom at a rest stop. I can't go inside a gas station. But at least I've got a good idea of what's out here, so when conditions improve, I know where to go. And it is absolutely incredible up here. For residents of BC, they can visit the Yukon as long as they're not sick and they haven't been outside the province for 14 days. However, anybody else in Canada, unless you're Northwest Territories, any other province in Canada, the only way you can visit the Yukon is go into self-isolation in Whitehorse. And that's not as easy as it sounds. For somebody with a camper, a small camper, or a van, or a car, it's almost impossible because you have to be literally isolated. You can go to a hotel and stay in a hotel room for 2 weeks, but if you're thinking of going to a campsite, you can't. You are not allowed to self-isolate in a provincial campsite. so it'd have to be a private one. And I don't know any private campsites in Whitehorse that have their own restroom right at your campsite. So what that basically means, any waste that you have, you've got to accumulate for 2 weeks. Any water, you have to have your own water for 2 weeks. Groceries, everything. I just don't see it even being possible. I wouldn't try to do it. It would be better to park and go to a hotel, and let's face it, they've got to be pretty expensive rates because it's not a big city. I just can't see it happening. So the only way I can be in the Yukon right now is to be in transition to another part of BC, which is what I'm doing. See, there's a rest area right there and a gas station. I don't need gas right now, but that's one of the few opportunities of me even pulling over the side of the road. And when you get gas, you've got to get gas at a self-serve pump. You don't go into the building. It's a challenge, but those are the rules. After driving about 5 hours west on a lonely highway, I dropped south again to an isolated part of British Columbia where I could finally set up camp. Which brings me back to where I just finished breakfast. Coffee's always better from the outside. Well, it's hiking day. Monarch Trail to Monarch Mountain. I really don't think I'm gonna make it all the way because I'm out of shape. I haven't been hiking a lot. I'm going to take it at a slow pace, and if I get tired and sore, I stop. It's super important, if you haven't been hiking or exercising lately, that you take it easy, slow pace, no hurry, take breaks. My legs are usually pretty good because I'm pretty light, but sometimes my knees go if I hike too high or too much elevation gain. Makes it really difficult on the way back. Speaking of back, my biggest concern is my back. I gotta be careful because it was only a couple of months ago I was out hiking and camping, and I found a beautiful wilderness area by a stream. And some, I don't know, how do I describe it? Person who is not one with nature decided to deface all the rocks around the stream, paint silly little slogans on them and pretty colors. That just made me furious. I don't know why somebody would like. To me, it's the equivalent of a dog looking for a fire hydrant to pee on. It's like ego. It's like, well, yeah, I'm marking my territory. Leave nature as it is. Anyway, I was determined I was going to take every rock that had been defaced and turn it upside down, or throw them in the stream so nobody else had to endure that awful selfishness. And I paid for it because my back got really sore and I couldn't hike or camp for about 3 weeks. But I still feel good I did it. But I wish people would respect nature a little bit more. This trail's going up and up. Well, I just started making it above the tree line when the impending clouds of doom appeared. Now it's starting to rain. Glad I brought a raincoat.
I guess I wasn't in as bad shape as I thought, because I actually did make it to the top of the trail. Neither high winds or sore knees would spoil the show. The panoramic view of Atlin Lake was simply stunning. To the northwest was the little community of Atlin. One more look, and then it was time to find a less windy spot for lunch.
Well, that was a pretty good hike for an old man. And what a place to hike. I don't know, I think it was about maybe 700 meters, 2,000 feet elevation. That's good exercise. I kind of need it. Too much sitting in the folding chair and drinking a malt beverage. Sometimes you got to get out, get the exercise, and that fresh air. Oh, my lungs never felt better. And Atlin, the area around here is spectacular. It looks like the Pacific Coast, which is obvious because the Pacific Coast is just over the hill, so to speak. But all that water is crystal clear glacier water. It's beautiful. It's not salt water. And the mountains, the glaciers. I wish I had a kayak and I knew how to use a kayak. This is kayaking paradise here. So many rivers, lakes. Wow.
The distant views were impressive, but the close-up ones were just as awe-inspiring. The lichens on the rocks were the graffiti of the wilderness. Like Mother Nature meets Jackson Pollock. But Mother Nature does her best work solo, creating a myriad of alpine flora only high trekkers get to enjoy. The wind whispered that it was time to descend. Back at camp, the waves beckoned. In this world full of rules, we're constantly reminded of what we can't do. So it's easy to forget there are still things we can do if we try hard enough. And just do it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please check out my other adventures as well.